Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Ramen Room. I am Randall Williams, as usual, almost usual, your host, and with the man with the undefeated streak of podcasts not missed, Hassan Hancock.
What's up? What's up? How everybody doing tonight? Yeah, don't answer that question.
You would sound weird talking to your car stereo. I'm doing great, guys. But right now we are missing the dulcet tones of our number 3.
Yeah.
Omar, he's not with us this evening, but he will be back regularly scheduled as normal next week. So we actually kind of a quick one for you here today. Quick show. So kicking it off at the top, we have some gaming news, that's come out this week.
Gaming news, man.
Yeah.
A little silence. He's like, yo, what is he talking about? Gaming news. So we got Neo. Neo went gold a couple weeks ago. Horizon Zero Dawn went gold.
Now, last time we spoke about that, you weren't too excited about Horizon. Have you changed your tune on?
Yeah, I'm a figure
Jurassic
out.
Tomb Raider.
Yeah, I'm a get it.
Yeah. You still don't seem that enthused about it.
I just don't want it to be a PlayStation-y.
What does that mean?
Release. It just means that everybody knows that PlayStation has the exclusives this generation. I mean, so far.
Right.
So far. So the it follows a particular tone. Like, you got Horizon Zero Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You got The Last of Us. Last of Us 1, Last of Us 2. It has a tone. Even though every game is different, every game is separate, it still has that feel of a one-player-ish type game that you can't get nowhere else. It's just here. It's got great graphics. It's this, that, and the third. But it still feels like a play. You can almost say the same thing about Xbox games. Like,
right.
There's
kind of a sameness to the.
Yeah, there's a feel that you get. You kind of expect this particular console to have that particular game.
Right. And
when you play it, then it just fits the description.
That's valid. Like I said, when I saw it first at E3, 2 years ago, I think, when they first announced it, just seeing it in action, really, really piqued my interest. Just the setting and just kind of the actual gameplay. So, something I'm excited. I would probably pick up if I had a PS4. But yeah, it was interesting to see you mentioning it because I mentioned you're previously lukewarm. But speaking of going gold, Tekken 7, not going gold, but they're up for pre-order and preload.
You got a street date.
Yeah, we got the release date for that. With Tekken 6. Now you're between the two of us. You're more the fighter guy. Is Tekken is that your brand of fighter?
Well, no. No. I mean, yes.
No.
Yes, it is. I mean, I know people play Tekken. Tekken's great. It's a great franchise. Tekken 7 has been in the Japanese market in the arcade setting for about a year.
Right.
And it's making big moves. People are playing it. I mean, does it stack up to what the American or the Western market wants to get out of that, outside of it just being a Tekken title? I don't know.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like Street Fighter had to rebrand themselves a little bit just to try to get a piece of their market back.
Right. Which was, that was a good move for them, particularly if you're talking about 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the time. I mean, because
no, 5.
5. Okay, yeah, 5. You think they get a piece of market back when they went to 5? Because it seemed to me like they were doing really good, really owning the market after the success of 4 and its subsequent, extra packs, extra releases.
I think 5 is making moves. Personally, yeah. I think they're making moves. They're making waves. As long as they stick to what their guns are right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they should somehow, in some way, drop the DLC package, or not the DLC package, but the season pass idea.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I think Smash did it best. I mean, you could. I don't even think they had a season pass, but they had DLC package price points.
Right.
So you can buy the the character or the title, or you could buy the entire thing from $19.99, again $19.99, and once again $19.99. You could have did that. It'd been cool, or you could just buy Bayonetta.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's what Street Fighter's doing.
Right.
They're doing that. They have. I mean. But they got. I mean, I feel like it's too much going on with that. It's season pass. It's character. Like you can buy the character standalone. You can buy the character on stage, or just that's just a lot. I mean, I know you're dicing it down to see what your consumer wants, but,
right?
Then you got Overwatch that says all this is free.
Yeah, it does make it hard. I mean, and they're different genres, but knowing that exists in the market, it does make it a bit harder to.
Yeah, because it's different genres, but
right.
I mean, those companies believe in this particular. I mean, I think they just talked about Overwatch having about 25 million players. Now, that's not like consecutive every day,
right?
But at least 25 million people have decided to purchase to play it at least one time,
right? And it's a popular enough game, they're getting a fair amount of that consistently.
And every character is going to be able to use every person is going to be able to use every character
right,
in every stage without having to worry about I don't have Akuma,
right?
Which came out in December, so
yeah. I think that's a fair trade off too for a game that you pay for up front,
right?
Having the free characters versus like a freemium game like League, where you don't pay, but you can get the characters and you earn them kind of piecemeal. I think like you said, I think they would a step away from that model would probably be one for the better. But I haven't seen anything that said that that's really hurting Street Fighter sales. I'm not sure Capcom's even considering that at this moment.
Well, we'll figure it out. I mean, Capcom has been doing some big moves here lately.
Mm-hmm.
They recently released the Resident Evil 7.
Right. Oh yeah.
How?
You between the two of us, you've played it. How was it?
I was scared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I haven't touched it, man.
I'm not a crybaby. I'm not. Oh, it's too scary. But I mean, in my house, we just don't
keep the lights on.
Hell yeah. We fire that game up when the sun's out. That's what we do. We don't play that night. But I mean, from what I've played so far, it's a good game.
Does it retain the Resident Evil feel? Because it looks a lot like games like Outlast and like the new Machine for Pigs, like some of the new survival horror titles. Mm-hmm. It has more of that look, as in physical look to it. Mm-hmm. But does the gameplay and the atmosphere, does it actually feel more like Resident Evil, or does it feel like it takes a page from those newer series?
I mean, outside of the third person, I mean, with Resident Evil, people who play like the original Resident Evil titles,
right?
I ain't even talking about like for those who are like younger, like Zero on GameCube or something like that. But I'm talking about like Resident Evil PlayStation. I mean, it still has that same walk. I mean, because they like in the third person view, they emulated a first person. I feel
right.
So basically, like when you wanted to go left, I mean, you did, but it was just like the way the character would turn. It was first person-y.
Right. Yeah.
So now that it's first person, it's just a matter of getting used to the fact that it's first person.
Right.
So but the sounds are there. The sounds, the dialogue from the characters. I mean, a lot of people have talked about it from GameSpot to IGN on down. They've all talked about how the dialogue is top notch and AAA, if you will. But when you play the game, it does breathe a breath of fresh air in the, in the horror demographic or the horror genre of video games.
Right.
To me, at least. Like when I'm playing with my fiance and she doesn't want to look at this. She's feeling, and that's how you're supposed to feel when you pay your ticket at the box office to see Saw 7 or 8.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not just expect it because this is what it is. So I think they have found a way to go back. It's not about following Jill Valentine or whoever. It's about breathing new life into a particular genre, and they did that.
So, and I was going to ask, so then, there's no, as far as you've played, there's no major reference to like Raccoon City or Leon or Jill.
They got Easter eggs,
right? But no direct narrative. Like it's not like the sixth place next count over.
It's not following. It's not like a nemesis,
right? You don't work for the Umbrella Corporation or anything.
I mean, so those who are looking for that game, who's thinking about getting it, even if you got a GameFly it, Redbox it, whatever you got to do,
Yeah.
Try it out.
Yeah, and it's good to see Resident Evil doing that, making those movies again, kind of being back on towards the top of the horror genre.
Right.
That survival horror genre.
Right.
Real quick, actually, and I meant to mention this earlier, even before we came on the air, but did you see that announcement this week for Square Enix and Marvel?
I saw that.
Yeah. So real quick, first of all, before we even get to that, how do you feel about the announcement that there's going to be there's going to be a game in like 2 years? Like it's like important to be so far out. I understand they want to get it out there, they want to build hype, but
right.
To me, it seems there's so many ways that works against you. There's so many games they announce too early, and you have to wait forever, and that the excitement gets let out, and by the time the game comes around, people are not nearly as excited for it as it was when it was first announced.
I don't know. I mean, I think there's something good to that. I think there's a lot of negative. I mean, the major negative that comes with that is the fact that you just got to sit there and wait. Right.
Especially in this situation where we know almost we have information we can infer, but as far as what they actually released was very little. So you're just like, oh, well, it's going to be Marvel related.
Who's making that? Eidos Interactive?
Yeah. Because interestingly enough, they said that basically Deus Ex is on hold now.
Yeah. Which is stupid. Yeah, I mean, because like when it came out, they said that expect the 3 and 3's coming and blah blah blah. But now because sales flopped or whatever, they went a different direction. Now people who love the Deus Ex franchise has to hold because of this particular game that may or may not do good.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like this game is going to ride on the back of another Marvel movie or a Marvel year.
Based on the trailer, it seems like, it almost, if this was 10 years ago, I would have bet it was an MMO based on the wording of the trailer.
Yeah.
Because they make it sound like, oh, new heroes rise and etc. It makes it seem like maybe you're going to create your own character.
Or it could be like a Legends.
Yeah. Honestly, it'll probably be something more like that.
Like a Legends?
Yeah.
I mean, not like the top down or like the side scroller type of feel of a Legends, but it could have that that type of scope, but be bigger. You know what I mean? We've seen what Eidos, we see what kind of games they make.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the other thing, because their games, you said they've done Deus Ex, which is a very narrative-driven game. Mm-hmm. And Marvel also already has Marvel Heroes, like 2016, 2017. I'm not sure if they changed the year and the title yet, but that's already like a Diablo-esque title, kind of their online game. So it'd be interesting to see them create a whole new property, in a new space, or taking in something they already have, filling a void, they already have taken care of. Mm-hmm. So really, there's not a lot to go on, and this is all speculation. But I'd be curious to find out, just what it is they're looking to do, because there's also rumors that the next game they're going to work on, because I think it was 3 games, or it's supposed to be working on this Marvel game. There's also potential of Guardians of the Galaxy game that Square.
I thought that Telltale Games was doing that. Are there 2 of them? There
might be 2 of them then. I remember. I believe Telltale was supposed to have one, and then I think this is.
Well, we know what kind of game they make, and that's what's interesting about Telltale is that they have a way of making games that people just subscribe to.
Right.
So it doesn't matter if it's from like the Avengers. That they make the or not the Avengers, but the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
It got that type of game, and then you got like the Batman game that they're making.
Right.
It is like, and it follows that. Don't they work with? They don't do Borderlands, do they?
They did Tales from the Borderlands. They did a game in that universe, which is actually really good.
But it's still it's not like trying to compete with the other Borderlands.
Right? Yeah, it's not a first-person shooter at all. It's just it's taking.
And they did a Game of Thrones game, didn't they?
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, they make a good style of game.
Yeah,
and you would actually have to be a Telltale's fan.
Yeah, because there are those who are, I guess, tired of the formula. But I enjoy it for what it is for the most part. Oh, yeah. Give me a good Telltale game, I'll enjoy. Like I said, I really enjoyed Tales from the Borderlands and Wolf Among Us and the first 2 seasons of Walking Dead.
They made it. So I forgot about that one.
Yeah. Especially that first one was really good. Kind of like we were saying, with Telltale, you kind of get a formula, and you know what you're going to get with them. So with Guardians, it'll be probably something similar. You make some decisions.
Episodic a little bit.
Yeah,
it makes sense, and people like that. They want to just get that that's your story-driven crowd.
Right, exactly. Very narrative focused. And that's why it's really interesting to see. I'm thinking this Marvel Square Enix game would probably be obviously action. I'd be curious. I mean, it will be first person. You know, they've done that with the Deus Ex. Well, you know, third person. No, probably. I'm assuming third, but it'll be interesting to see what they do. I just thought it was silly to have this announcement that basically amounted to they just put out a press release basically and got the same thing across. We'll see if they show up at E3 with anything.
I'm sure they will.
Yeah, probably maybe a.
I mean, by that time we'll have a solid teaser.
Yeah,
I believe. So. I mean, outside of just like an announcement. I mean, your announcement just says, "Oh, well, it's being made."
Yeah.
Oh, snap! And then you see like the CGI.
Right.
You know, it's
this was even less. I feel like DC's kind of forced a hand a little bit with Injustice too. I mean, DC's been more representative in the game space. Than Marvel.
Here lately, it used to be a point where it used to be Marvel,
right?
I mean, like their Marvel versus Capcom titles and whatnot, but even still, it was like Marvel.
Yeah,
and then like people was like, "Yo, where's the DC fighting game?" But because of NetherRealm Studios, Warner Brothers, shouts out to them, they've created the like that narrative and that mechanic in the game that just keeps, and it falls with a comic,
right?
So it's like you get a full package,
right?
Like,
exactly.
Even if you're not that great of a fighting game player, you can just say I fought as Lobo, and read the comic. And even if you ain't play online, just play yourself,
right?
You still feel good about because you're playing with your favorite character,
right? Exactly.
So that makes Marvel be like, you know what, we got to do something.
Right. I think you're absolutely right. I wouldn't be surprised if that at least played a role into the decision to announce it now. And to really fast track it, because that's something that I think people have been asking for a while. Where's Marvel's video game presence been in the last few years, particularly after the explosion in popularity of the MCU?
Well, they've been, from what I've seen so far, is that they've been on the the iOS Android market.
Yeah, that's true. That is
Marvel
true.
Champions, and games like that.
Right.
I mean, which is cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that's your pay-as-you-go platform.
Right. But I think the success of the Batman series shows us that there's a market for superhero games in the AAA console space and the PC space.
Yeah, you got to have that. And that's the thing, like, with your pay-as-you-go market, like, it's just like, it's confusing when you download the game, you see the video, you're scrolling through Facebook, you see the video.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, that looks dope. That's Black Adam, or not Black Adam, but that's Black Panther.
Right.
You download the game. And then, like, they got all this, okay, go to this place to buy this item. And then go select this road. And if you have this item, they kind of push without pushing the pay-as-you-go model.
Right.
And it's like, don't want to buy this.
I got to say, I'm surprised. And I think actually DC may have tried, but so I may be mistaken a little bit by this. But I'm surprised I don't see a bigger push, at least, if a push at all, from either the big two for a MOBA style game, because I mean the games lend themselves very well to apply that property.
DC did try that.
I thought they did, because I mean you have champions, so you have main characters easily.
That's Marvel.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mean champion. I mean in a MOBA you have like a usually what they call a champion, or like a player controlled character, and a bunch of
okay, you're right.
NPCs that follow you. I mean, it'd be easy to have your character be Spider-Man or the Flash, run in there and then have a bunch of like Shield agents or. Gotham.
I mean, the question becomes: Is the mobile market like saturated? Is it?
Yeah, I'd imagine it'd be. It's probably got to be.
I'm seeing all types of like acronyms these days. You got mobiles, Dotas. And it's like, what the hell?
You're right.
What's the difference here? You got Paragon in there somewhere.
Yeah, I think the ship may have sailed a bit on it, but I'm surprised they didn't do it
because people want to get, like the League of Legends. They want to get that title and get good at that title, not be like, you know what, I think I'm gonna get the DC version.
Right. Well, I mean, but I'm sure there are plenty of people who maybe don't follow MOBAs that closely, but you put on, a can of paint of someone they recognize, it might be more willing to give it a shot.
Oh yeah. And that's, I don't know. I mean, that genre of game, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, people are attacking it and figuring it out. It
seems like, for the most part, it's really your big two, League and then Dota, or I think actually Dota, then League, and then like you get your other ones like Smite, kind of your second tier. No offense to them, but as far as in terms of popularity and usually the draws on Twitch.
Because your bigger markets in those games, are like the Korean market, the Japanese market. Western market. I mean,
Right.
I think the Korean market, like literally, you're like a superstar. You're like a rock star.
Oh yeah. Like,
You know what I mean?
with
So
Queen,
people are following those games to try to slide in another version, like with characters that people are familiar with. Just because they're familiar with it doesn't mean that they want to just play that game.
That's true.
And that's where a lot of people went wrong with the MMO space. You know what I mean? Because you had at the time back then you had your World of Warcraft, which was crushing, still crushes.
Right.
Then you had Final Fantasy 11, 14, or whatever. And then you had the little Chinese, like the Chinese one, like the Blatant Soul.
Right.
And
Aeon
and all that. So I mean, it's like, just because it's popular doesn't mean that as a game developer that you have to create a title like quickly.
Right. No. It seems like there's a potential there.
I mean, it is.
I'm just surprised they haven't explored.
If done right, though.
Yeah, that's true.
It has to be done right. I mean, because you have a plethora of characters that you can pick from. Like, I mean, outside of the ones that everybody know. Like, one thing about comics is like introducing new characters through other mediums outside of movies. That way, people can say, "Oh, I want this guy."
Right.
You know what I mean? I took it upon myself here, just in the comic space, to say, "Yo, I want to follow Ray, not because he's going to be in the new Justice League." But because he's the one who trained to like Superman back in the 90s. Right. You know what I mean? Like, this dude got to be dope. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now that I'm training him, they rebranded him. He's spoiler alert. He's a gay character now. You know, in this new iteration.
Right.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
You know, there's not a big deal with. There's no deal with that. I mean, but it's just like, yo, like, I mean, to me that's dope when you can use every aspect of your field, from games to movies to cartoons to animated movies, whatever. Introduce new characters so you can say, I want that character in this game,
right? Or
if you introduce it in that game, I want to see that character in this comic,
right? And I just think, especially with comics specifically, going to your point, I do think it's a good opportunity to take characters and give them a shine in another medium that they maybe wouldn't have the opportunity, because not every Marvel character is going to get into the Marvel. The movies, but you put them in the game, you get them in the cartoons, the opportunity. That's why I like when they do series, especially like DC, if they'll do like a different team and they'll shift the focus on a group of characters. Obviously they're still going to include your Batman or Superman, someone to draw people in, but when they shift their focus on other characters who don't normally get the shine, it's kind of cool to see them get their opportunity, even if it's not big screen, to get an adaptation outside of the comic books.
Yeah, that's a good point. And my point to that is, people, let us know. What do you guys think?
Yes.
How do you guys feel about comic book characters or just that market and just period? How do you guys feel? Do you think there should be more characters introduced in video games? I think DC tries it,
right? Yeah,
especially with their MMO,
right?
DC Universe Online.
Yeah,
I think they tried it so you can get used to Circe. Or of course, Wonder Woman, Tigress. I mean, and that's all Wonder Woman,
right?
They try to put those in so you can say, oh, I know she came from that game,
right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's how they get it. That's how they got That's how they got a lot of the fans who are adults now. They watch the cartoon animated series and characters show up. Yeah. I mean, that's where Harley Quinn was created.
That's how Static was created.
Right.
I mean, he was in the cartoon, and he showed up in the comics, and they start trying to weave him in video games. And I'm sure that he'll probably have his own animated again.
Right.
Because people are not familiar with the same thing with Blue Beetle.
Yeah.
So let us know. I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think they should try to use new characters? No, let's put it this way. Do you think that comic book, like Marvel, DC, Vertigo, whatever, do you think they should put characters in video games that you're used to, that you would naturally purchase so you can get familiar with them, and then try to translate them to screen or to comic book or whichever one? Do you think that's a good way of getting familiar with the new character? Or do you think they should just do what they've been doing? Is it working for you?
Right, exactly. And you can let us know at theramenroom@gmail.com.
That's what I'm talking about. Say it again one more time so I can remember.
theramenroom@gmail.com.
Couch play, right?
Right.
I miss that.
Yeah.
I mean, as a gamer, I miss that. As a matter of fact, I seek it out. I have times where me and my friends come together and we play old games that require like GameCube or mainly just GameCube. Like we'll play Bloody War. We'll play Naruto, the Japanese version on GameCube. Right. We'll play that or any other like multiplayer game where you sit on the couch and all that.
Right.
We'll kick back, play that because I mean we're friends.
Right.
We've been friends for years. And we do like getting together and doing what we've been doing since we were kids.
Right.
Now that we're older, it's got a little different.
Yeah.
It's gotten a little different. Even if you play PlayStation 4 and play Street Fighter 5, when you turn on that second controller, you got to log into a guest account.
Right.
What the hell's going on?
it is definitely a different experience versus you used to just plug a thing in and press start and you go.
You're just going. And like you said, going back to your point with the Nintendo Switch, that's their selling feature.
Right.
Playing together, mobily and at home, is still a thing. Let's make this happen.
Right.
And people graciously defend Nintendo, and people say, "Oh, their time is over with."
Right.
It's not. It's not. I mean, it really isn't.
Oh yeah, I mean, I see all the time people complain in forums when a game comes out and there's no couch co-op. Like I remember when Halo 5 came out, there was going to be no, local split screen multiplayer, and people were upset it went by because a lot of people they get games and they say, hey, myself and my spouse or me and my kids, we sit down, we run through it together, you know. And I mean, just really harping on or jumping to the couch co-op portion you mentioned.
I don't think.
I mean, well, as I say, I mean that's kind of this quintessential multiplayer gaming experience. It's what it is. Is like you said, you got a controller, even if it was that third party Mad Cats that hardly worked. You go get a game. You go to your buddy's house on Friday night. You stay up all night. You either cooperatively or working against each other. You playing up till dawn. Yeah. You get together. With
that was your thing. Yeah. That's what you did.
Yeah. You bring over like 12 people with monitors for a LAN party. Right. The PC's up. I mean, there's something like going online has been a tremendous boon, I think, to gaming because for someone like myself, if I want to play a multiplayer game and there's no one around to play with, I can hop online. You have a wider range of people you can match your skill against. Right. It's tremendous, but there's just a different atmosphere when it's people and people and you're just playing and the jokes are flying and everyone's just screaming and getting excited and just
all in the same room, not over the mic and all that.
Right, exactly.
All in the same room, like that energy is not what's being pushed. But I think there's another motive behind that. Microsoft doesn't make any money. Sony doesn't make any money when everybody is playing in the room. Right. They make money when everybody is playing and subscribing.
Right. No, you're right.
To whatever.
Exactly right.
Yeah. I mean, so I think that's why they don't push that.
Right. I'm willing to sacrifice it for technical aspects. Like if it's like, hey, it really wouldn't play that well or look that well, or we're really focused on, other aspects of the game, I'm fine with that. But like you said, you're right. When the business side of it is that, hey,
there's a business side. I mean, it used to be a thing where, if you play Mortal Kombat, 10 and if you had something negative to say, it's because of the mechanics of the game. Right. But the majority of the negativity behind the game is not because of the mechanics; it's because of the damn net code.
Right. Yeah. No, you're right. That's become a huge part of
that's a huge
these days.
Yeah. It's like, oh my goodness, the net code doesn't work. The net code, and that's it's net code and it's DLC.
Right.
Right. So I mean, it kind of puts the gamer. It kind of makes you as a gamer like sit back and look like, damn, wait a minute. What the hell's going on?
Right. Well, you don't get that instant gratification, that sort of fridge logic, as they say, in television and movies, so to speak. It's used to, because it used to be you would get a game, get home, slam the thing in, start playing, like we say, plug it over the controller in and go. Now you have to download it, you have to get updates, you have to get there's more steps in between you and the game, more time for you to think and be like, this is ridiculous. Like
it's majorly I mean, in fighting games, I would even say RPGs, but fighting games, back on couch play,
right?
You buy the game, Super Street Fighter 2 on Super Nintendo.
Yeah,
you buy the game, you put it in, it didn't work, you eject it with the gray button, pop, you blow it, you put it back in,
yeah.
And then you play with your friend.
Right.
And then y'all just fake it till you make it. Then your friend's mad because you got the game and he doesn't. So what does he go out and do? Buy the game.
Right, buys the game.
And then tries to get good. And then the next time you guys play, then you're playing in your mind on even kilter, or one person's better, or you just better with this particular character.
And then your cousin comes from out of town and just beats it both because you ain't ready for that.
Then you was like, yo, what the hell's going on here? I'm glad you came, cuz. You know what I mean? So, I mean, you had that camaraderie in the living room.
Right.
Now it's, well, I'd rather not play online. I'd rather play in person, but everybody has grown up from that era.
Right.
Where they have families, they have jobs, they have dreams and aspirations outside of just outside of just gaming.
Which, to its credit, you know, I guess, and I guess a point against couch co-op is an advantage of online is that if you have friends and you're like, hey, I live across the country now, you know, I got a family, I get 2 hours a night on gaming, we can get it in, you know, because we connect really quick and play a lot easier than me trying to get together a group of friends or have people come over and got to set up, you know, for the rare times you can. But I do think that having that option for couch co-op is important because it's hard to replace that experience.
A seamless couch co-op, not account guest. You know, not well. If you got Xbox Gold, then you know, or Xbox Live, you got a gold membership,
right?
Then we can. That's dividing your market twice over because I mean, at the end of the day, this person has to have gold and he has to have Xbox Live. You can have Xbox Live fresh at the box, 30 days free, whatever. Mm-hmm. Is that what it is now? 30 days, 10 days, 15 days, 13 days, something
like
stupid.
2 weeks or something like that.
Something
or maybe
stupid.
It's a month if you buy the console. I don't know.
Yeah, it's something ignorant. I mean, but you divide, you know, I mean, because I got Street Fighter 5 right now. Mm-hmm. When I play Street Fighter 5, let's say, I want to enter a lobby, or let's say I'm training between. It takes so long to get from the training, you know what I mean, to select your character to play, but there's some games that do better with that.
Right.
You know, the Pokken Tournament has a very seamless exchange of leaving training or just leaving like your one player mode into like versus. Right. And then now you're playing, and then if you want to play again, it's like right there. Right. You know what I mean? But your tempo type franchises in fighting takes forever. Yeah. It takes forever just to get there. Right. So, I mean, I miss the golden era. I miss sitting back and watching my friend playing Xenogears and just going through the story. I'm just like watching it, reading it.
Yeah. Well, I think that's part of the reason why there has been a rise, or that led to the rise of Let's Plays, once people walk through. Yeah, I'd watch a walkthrough. The Twitches, because I mean, I'd watch a walkthrough, Let's Play just to see if I'm stuck at a part or just to kind of get a sense of the game. But a lot of people, especially younger generation, they watch these things that they just watch it like it's like a television show. Like it's
I mean, I want to watch somebody play, Mario Kart 8. Yeah. Shit, let me get on, Twitch or YouTube gaming, whatever, and watch them play as I'm at work or as I'm in transit on a subway.
I love it for Uber. Checking out tournaments, like when an Evo comes around, or when
just to see how good these cats are.
Yeah, when they have their big thing, it's because it's just exciting, and there's an atmosphere going on. But
so that portion of online gaming has changed the game, but it still makes the couch play.
I just think it's hard to replace, and I think that it's something that I wish less developers and publishers, whether through necessity or through choice, didn't ignore.
Yeah, I mean, it shouldn't ignore it. They can. I mean, because you even see it like with EA, they push their online. I mean, even like I can't say this for EA because I don't know too much, but I will say like in 2K, when it comes to 2K gaming, like the NBA 2K17 and all that. Like if you do good online, they'll give you passes to like the All-Star game or the finals and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So it's I mean, that's cool to get good online, but it's like, brother, what about, is there something for people who just play good at home? Right. I mean, not to say okay. I mean, because there's no way for them to chart it. Right. At the end of the day, it's like I want to be able to play seamlsly with my friends.
Yeah, that's the thing, and it's two different. Online, because online you think of as more of that kind of pro style, that kind of more. It's more of a just almost, I don't want to overstate it, but it's almost like I'm here for a job. I'm here to sit down, grind up these games, get this KD ratio up, go about my business. Because when you're playing with your friends, it's about that experience of playing with them.
Well, it kind of makes sense though when it comes to the first person market in a sense, because I mean, I really don't want to share real estate on my screen at home.
Right.
I mean, it was cool while it lasted.
Yeah.
Like with GoldenEye, like you got 4.
Right.
It was cool. It was fun. Now that we're in a space where the TVs are getting bigger, they have more fidelity.
Yeah.
It's like I'd rather just watch this all by myself as opposed to having 4 people.
But even then, I still remember, back when playing in the original Xbox,
the LAN parties and stuff.
My friend threw his Xbox in his book bag, hopping on bikes right over.
But with the cost of these consoles these days, I mean, you can get you a slim or regular OG PS4. Possibly used at like $279 or something like that. Mm-hmm. Or if it's like on like some sort of holiday special, you can probably dial it down to $250, whatever, brand new, right?
Right.
But now, I mean, you got the PS4 Pro at the price of the PS4 OG was at $400,
right?
And you really don't want to lug a $400 console.
No, not too much, but I think depending on how who's doing it, how often you do it, it may not be terrible.
Yeah, I mean, it will go based off who your friends are and all that.
Right. And like I said, it may just be a thing where every like once a month it's a special thing you set aside. You will take it apart, or you'll take your setup down and bring it over. But
we'll it's kind of hard to say. I mean, there again, that couch play was the best part of gaming.
It was. I remember when Halo 2 first announced online, and I was just like, man, gamers are already lazy enough. You got rid of the reason to leave the house now. You would have to go over for LAN parties.
That couch play was the shit. I mean, when Sonic 1 came out, there was no couch play. It was you watching your friend play Sonic, but at the moment Tails came out, and you can help Sonic fly across different parts. That was the boom right there,
right?
Of couch play,
right?
I mean, because now we're working together to get to an end goal,
right?
Now you got fighting games and you're fighting in all. I mean, you can say you fighting in any SNK game or whatever the case may be. First person shooters was GoldenEye that really set apart that 4 plugin,
right?
So the I don't know, people. Tell us.
That's no idea. Couch co-op, is that your thing? You miss it? You want to see more? Or you fine without it? You think the wheels of progress march on, and it's time to let the past be the past?
I mean, what would be next? I mean, outside of multiplayer, what would be next?
Honestly, I don't know. Just other than just improving the quality and reliability of multiplayer, just making it more seamless.
And netcodes. I mean, if companies have to spend more money trying to develop a seamless netcode for every game that they come out with, especially a multiplayer like game. Mm-hmm. Does the price of gaming go up a 5?
I imagine it would, or what we'll honestly likely see is just a lot more sort of microtransactions, packs you can buy,
paywalls.
Yeah, not even necessarily paywalls, but more situations where like, hey, you can buy either cosmetic items, or you can buy boost, or you can buy more right. Microtransactions,
and that goes back, and this is the game of the year for a lot of different top tier. I wouldn't say top tier companies, but just notable companies like IGN. Mm-hmm. I think GameSpot even said that Overwatch was their game of the year, and it makes sense because we talked about it before, and how everything is even kilter, and everybody gets the stages when they come out, and the characters that come out, But I think what sets them apart is reintroducing the pay-as-you-go model,
right,
behind loot boxes. You know what I mean? Because you want voice patterns, you want skins, you want, even though you're playing on the same match, you're on Route 66 right now on Xbox. It's not on PS4 for some reason. Like, really him and more on on PS4 consistently, but on Xbox they're playing on Route 66, and just to be able to see a different, Sombra come out, or what I'm saying, or a different looking Tracer. It could be the middle of February, the beginning of February, and you got the Christmas outfit,
right?
For Tracer, or you got the Halloween outfit for the gun toting guy. You know what I'm talking about.
I do not.
Shit, do not play this game. Reaper. You know what I mean? Like it's like you're playing like you got all these outfits. It's like, oh, this dude's on my team, and then you start seeing some of their scores, their ranks, and whatnot, and then you work together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you're still spending $10 for like
Right.
3 loot boxes.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, and I've done it. I've done it a lot.
Yeah. I've done
There's
it.
people there's people who spend $400 to $500 at a time just to make sure they get everything, and then they consistently come out with new content.
Mm-hmm.
So this person spent $60 on the game day one and spent $5, on loot boxes just to get everything.
Right.
And dog, that's $550 on a game, dog.
Right.
No DLC.
Just cosmetic stuff.
It's just cosmetics. And so, I mean, they reintroduced it and they're selling very well.
Yeah.
They're doing really well. And kudos to them. That's why they get Game of the Year.
Yeah.
In my book, even like with EA and a lot of first person shooters, they don't do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because when it worked, and it worked for a short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
Call of Duty, it was new game, then DLC, and then new game.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like big DLC.
Right. Yeah.
And Destiny, they going into next episode. I think Destiny getting ready to go ahead and drop a new trailer for Destiny 2. That's next time, though. You got anything else you want to say before we get out of here, man?
No, I think I'm good. Just let us know, again, what you feel about everything we talk about, or really anything you want us to cover, any topics you find interesting. Just let us know. Hit us up on Facebook at The Ramen Room, or Twitter, The Ramen Room.
All right. And shouts out to Omar.
Yeah, man. Big Omar, man. He's R.I.P.
Shut up.
He'll be back next week, man.
All right, you guys. It's been great talking with you guys. We will see you guys next week here at the Ramen Room.
Peace
out.